When I was a kid, even up through teenage years, we would go to my grandparents on my mother's side, and we would celebrate Thanksgiving there, Richmond, Virginia, a couple hours from where I lived. And we would also celebrate my stepfather Henry and my grandpa, that's what we call him down south, my grandpa's birthdays. So it was a big celebration. It was a lot of fun. And unfortunately, when my grandpa died, that celebration stopped. And, you know, sometimes that happens, doesn't it? But what a beautiful memory. But most of all, Thanksgiving to me is a reminder to be grateful. Anybody ever need that reminder? It's easy to take life for granted, isn't it? To be grateful. Just to be grateful. I remember many years ago, I happened to notice something peculiar that would occur whenever I was feeling down. Maybe a little bit of self-pity or something, just disgruntled or upset about something. I would see someone either with some kind of mental challenge or in a wheelchair or something where they had some kind of disability of some kind, smiling and laughing. How many of you seen someone like that? Right? Just happy and, you know, and it would always remind me, my goodness, why am I upset? Look at them. And I'm telling you, it would happen so many times that for me it was like God saying, hey, look over there. They're happy. And it reminded me to be grateful. To be grateful, because I've got a lot going on, a lot of good stuff happening, you know. And I think one of the big lessons is to be grateful for life itself. Right, Kevin? Kevin's gotten that message. Being grateful for life itself. How many of us are going around forgetting what a blessing it is to be here on the planet? If you are on the planet, wow, you won the lottery. You won the lottery. To be alive, to experience what's here on the planet, because this is the only place anything's happening, ladies and gentlemen, that we know of. It's just darkness out there. There's planets, but they are millions of miles apart from each other, millions of miles away, and there's no evidence yet, I mean, other than maybe some aliens out there flying around somewhere, that there's nothing else happening out there. I mean, you can go to Mars, there's a bunch of red dust. You know? As Singer says, if you were to go on one of those planets and be on one of those planets by yourself, there'd be nothing else there. You would see if there were a cockroach that ran by, you'd probably try to befriend it. Instead, we're on this planet with all kinds of stuff happening. All different kinds of people, different shapes, different sizes, different colors. It's amazing. Full of color, full of this, full of that, and full of drama. How many of y'all like to go to a movie and it's just everybody's happy for the whole 2 hours and nothing, no tension, just everybody happy? You'd be like, why are we watching this stupid stuff? And it'd get boring. Guess what? We're in a cosmic movie. And you're the star of your cosmic movie. It's a cosmic movie. It's being broadcast from the infinite presence of God. And there's all kinds of drama going on. And it's all for our entertainment and our learning. And if we're not being entertained, then hopefully we're learning. But if we're not being entertained by it, even, it goes to show we still have not awakened to the reality of our spiritual essence. We're still caught up in it. Jesus talked about being in the world, but not of it. He said, be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. He didn't overcome the world by going up on a cloud somewhere. He overcame the world because he discovered his divinity. He discovered and knew what it means to be a child of God. And he said, the works I do, you can do and greater. I and the Father are one. And people have mistakenly believed that that meant that Jesus was special and that he was God on earth and the rest of us are miserable sinners born in sin. And so we're different than Jesus. And the great masters and sages tell us that is not correct. That is a misunderstanding of what he was all about. Jesus discovered what it means to be a child of God and came to the earth not to talk about how great he is, but to talk about how wonderful you are. That you are the very expression of God. And that's the message of Jesus Christ and all the great saints and sages. And we're still learning because we've been conditioned from early on that we're less than that. And then we've had preachers and others tell us, rabbis, preachers, everybody telling us that you're less than that. God is out there somewhere and you are separate from God, and God created the world and God is up there somewhere looking out after you. And the reality is, as the sages will tell us, God didn't create you and create the world. God is becoming you and becoming the world. In other words, God is in all of it. And that you and I are here to wake up to our divinity, to know what does it mean to be a child of God. And that's our core desire. And so you and I have been put on this planet to grow, to learn, and to be entertained. And how many of y'all are being entertained? How many of y'all are living in the world but not of it? Yeah, it's not easy to do that, is it? No, because we get into our little dramas. You know, people get into their little dramas. We get attached to it all. We're like, oh, this is what I need to be secure. I'm talking about myself too. You know, this is not happening the way it needed to happen. And I need this and I need that to be happy. I need to be secure. And we're looking for it, as the song goes, looking for love in all the wrong places. We're looking out there. And the teachers have all told us, you are what you're looking for. You and the higher why, your higher power, your higher self, is what we're looking for. That's what we want. What is that presence? That presence is primarily bliss. How many of y'all ever experienced bliss? That's what we deeply want, is eternal bliss. And people think, oh, just believe in Jesus and accept that truth and you're going to die and you're going to go to heaven and they're going to be playing all your favorite hits and there'll be milk and honey flowing around and all this kind of stuff. That stuff bores me. I don't care about all that. What as the famous writer said, I'd rather go to hell. That's where all my friends are. More interesting than that. What do you want? You want eternal bliss. You want joy. That's what you want. That's what God is. Satchidananda. That's the name of one ancient sage called God. It means ever existent. Ever existent. That's what the animals, that's why Darwin said that, the deepest fundamental is survival, right? He said everything wants to survive. But everything doesn't just want to survive. Does something want to survive to be in a coma and not aware that it's alive? No, it wants to be conscious of being alive. You don't want to just survive. You want to be conscious that you exist. And you want to enjoy life. Everything wants to survive, but it wants to be conscious of its existence, and it wants to enjoy it. And that's what God is. Ever existent, meaning eternal, conscious, bliss. And that's what you and I are. Eternal, ever existent. We want to be conscious, and we want eternal enjoyment. That's what we want. And that's where devotion comes in. You yearn to live in this eternal joy. Eternal joy. But we make the mistake thinking that what's going to give us satisfaction is the external world. That I just need more money. I just need more love. I just need more friends. I just need a partner. I just need something out here that's going to do it for me. But it's not. Because it's of the earth. The earth doesn't satisfy who we really are as a spiritual being. The only thing that's going to satisfy you as a spiritual being is knowing your spirit, which is joy, which is bliss. Now, to some people say, well, that's awfully superficial. God is joy, and you want joy or bliss. Doesn't that seem awfully superficial, that God would have something to do with your fulfillment? Not at all. Not at all. That's what we deeply long for, joy, and to be conscious of it forever, forever. And Thanksgiving time is a wonderful reminder that I don't have to be looking for something all the time out there to fulfill me. What is gratitude except being grateful for what I have? Isn't it? Gratitude is being grateful for what I have. Someone say, well, I don't have what I want. I don't have a partner. I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have that. But that very thought process creates a sense of lack, doesn't it? Think about it. When you want something, isn't there sort of a tension inside of, well, I don't have it, and I want it, and so I'm going to work for it, and I'm going to work for it, but I still have that sort of tension of not having it, and I'm going to work for it, and then I can get it, and then I'm happy. Is that how it works? No. Is that how it works? It doesn't work that way, does it? Because if you get it, and there are teachers who say the fact that you want it is a lack consciousness because you're focused on, I don't have enough, I want it, which means you don't have it. And so it's forever outside of you like the carrot in front of the horse, and you never get there. But we all know that desires are endless. They're endless. You get something, and then you want something else. You get her or him, and then some people, they start, after a while, they're like looking somewhere else. Ain't enough. You get the raise, you get the job, and then after a while, you're like, oh, I want more. I want more. And some people will say, oh, that's spiritual. The universe is ever expanding. It's natural to want more and more and more. So is it natural to continue to be ever dissatisfied? Because when you want something, there's always that sense of, oh, I don't have something, I'm missing something. How many of you know what I'm talking about? And Thanksgiving's a great time to remember, let me be grateful. Let me be grateful for the good that's in my life now. No matter what it is, I'm alive. I'm alive. My gosh, there's what, 200 million galaxies? More than that, I think. I've lost track of my numbers there. I've lost track of my numbers. It's so astronomical, the millions and millions and millions of galaxies, trillion. I think there's 2 trillion galaxies. I think there's 200 million. So I got to refresh my numbers. But it's so big. And you and I made it on this earth. Out of all of it, you and I here. You won the lottery. You won the lottery. And so learning to be aware, wow, I'm here. And I can enjoy this cosmic show, and I can wake up to my divinity and experience God's joy and God's bliss here and now, and enjoy the show. Be entertained by it instead of getting lost in it. That's not easy to do. But that's the journey. That's the journey. I remember Robert Schuller told the story many years ago, the late Dr. Robert Schuller. Any of y'all watched The Hour of Power? That was my first TV evangelist when I was in college. I used to watch it every Sunday in the student lounge in college. I was the only one down there watching it. Everybody else was sleeping till 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And he told a story one time, somebody called him up and was suicidal. He'd lost his business and stuff, and Robert Schuller said, oh, let me ask you a question. Can you hear what I'm saying? Yeah, I can hear what you're saying. Good. Your ears are working. Look around your room. What do you see in your room? Well, I see a painting. Oh, good. Your eyesight is working. Wonderful. And guess what? You have a brain in which new ideas can come into your brain, and you can get new ideas for your business and your life, and you have so much going for you. Well, that's right, Robert Schuller. That's right, Dr. Schuller. I do have a lot of things in my life still going for me. And Robert Schuller said, don't focus on the things that you've lost. Focus on the things that you have left. Gratitude. So powerful. So important. You and I are on the planet. We're alive. You and I are here to enjoy life, to enjoy our own drama. We all have drama because we're not perfected yet, you know. Well, the book I read, Justin, said I am already perfect. Yeah, you're perfect in your inner self. The sages tell us you're already enlightened. But the key is, do you know it? Do you know it? Are you there yet? That's the key. Jesus said the day will come where you will know that I'm in you and we're in the Father together. He knew what it meant to be a child of God. That's what it means. It means to fully know your unity, your oneness with God. We have no idea what that means yet. No idea. We are so much bigger and greater than we even realize. We're part of the omnipresence of God. You're a child of God. You're part of the omnipresence of God. If you and I woke up to who we really are right now, you would experience yourself as omnipresence. A fundamentalist would do a backflip if he heard me talking like this right now, because what you would know is that you are part of God. Not just think it, you would know it. You'd feel yourself in all the space everywhere. You'd feel yourself in each one of us. You'd feel yourself in the planets. You would know your omnipresence, because that's what it means to be a child of God. Infinite. Wow. I don't know about you, but I think that's exciting. And I feel grateful that I am on that journey to know that. I feel grateful that I'm not still wandering in like the prodigal son, wandering around looking for joy in all the wrong places, but that I'm on the right path. And the wayshower said, the path is narrow, ladies and gentlemen, and few therein who will take it. The path is wide that leads to destruction. And we can see a lot of people on the wide path that leads to destruction, that leads to disillusionment, that leads to cynicism, that leads to depression, that leads to all manner of unhappiness and destruction, that leads to pain and suffering. That's the wide path. But the narrow path you and I are on, which is seeking to put God first in our lives, to make God uppermost. And when we're on that path, we see the connections that happen in our daily life, don't we? The synchronicities, Dr. Carl Jung spoke about the synchronicities that happen in life. So this week, let's Thanksgiving, whether you're spending it with family, whether you're spending it with friends, whether you're spending it with just you and God. And I've had some beautiful Thanksgivings with just me and God. You know, one lady told me after service, she said, Justin, I'm glad you said that, because last Thanksgiving I went to McDonald's and picked up a McDonald's lunch, and I had such a beautiful Thanksgiving that day. I don't care whether you're having Thanksgiving with a Big Mac or a big table full of turkey and all kinds of stuff. Tofurkey, whatever. I'm not a fan of tofurkey, but anyway. You and God can have a great Thanksgiving together by remembering your connection, by remembering that you're alive in God's cosmic show and drama, and that you're part of God, that you're waking up to that reality, that presence. And that's exciting. And looking for God's activity in your life. I mean, you know, we hear the statement, something wonderful is going to happen to me today. Let's affirm that together. Something wonderful is going to happen to me today. And we may think that that has something to do with, oh, I'm going to find a $10 bill on the sidewalk. And that's true. That's great. But let's see God's activity in that special blessing. And that's something to feel grateful for. Seeing God's activity in our life. I had an experience just the other day. 2 weeks ago, I decided I was going to start drinking 1 cup of coffee a day for health benefits. Yeah, health benefits. And I ordered something called a French press. I thought it was a torture instrument. I didn't know what that was. I ordered a French press, and then it said, oh, you need coarse grounds of coffee. I'm like, what's a coarse ground of coffee? So the other, for 2 weeks as I was experimenting at Starbucks with some kind of coffee and then trying a different kind of coffee, because I don't know a thing about coffee. And I talked to Tracy about what kind of coffee do you drink? And she, I drink chock full of nuts. I'm like, what's that? And so I thought to myself, well, you got to go to the grocery store and buy some coffee before your French press gets here. Then my French press got here, and I dropped Tracy off Friday night, and I went home. I was going to go to bed. I walked in the building and said, you know what, Justin, why don't you go to the grocery store and see if you can get some coffee, and you can, make it cold overnight and put it in your smoothie in the morning. So I went to the grocery store down the street, walked in, went to where all the coffee was, and I'm like, well, where's the coarse ground coffee? I don't see any coarse ground coffee. Is it the whole coffee? Well, I don't know. Then this guy walks down the aisle. He's got all kinds of groceries in his hand. And I thought, well, maybe he can tell me. But then he starts looking at tea. Matcha tea. And he's got an employee with him saying, well, where is the matcha tea? I think he was shopping for a party. So when they were done, I said to the employee, I said, excuse me, sir, do you know much about coffee? And the little guy with his hands full, he said, I know a lot about coffee. Said, I'm a restaurateur. Oh. Then he said, I opened the first blah, blah, blah in New York City in 1984. I didn't quite catch what it was, but it was some restaurant. It was the first one in 1984. I said, oh, cool. And out of all these brands of coffee, he points to two of them. He says, here, get one of these two. They're a lot cheaper than these over here. These are good too, but these are a lot less expensive, and they're terrific. So I bought one of them. And I forget, Lavazza. Lavazza. So I get home and make the coffee. Lavazza. Italian. Ooh, 125 years in Italy making Lavazza. Interesting. I press it and do all that. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or what. So I contact Tracy in the morning. I send her a picture of Lavazza. Said, look what happened last night. I met this restaurateur. He told me to write coffee and Lavazza. So, to me it was amazing. Out of all the times to go look for coffee, there's a restaurateur to tell me, oh, you don't need coarse grounds, just buy this. I'm like, wow, that's cool. That's cool, right when I needed it. Tracy wrote back and said, wow, I love how Spirit helped you pick out coffee. And I sent her the picture and talked to her that evening, and she said, Justin, it's funny. I've been drinking chock full of nuts for years and years. And just a week ago, somebody gave me 2 containers of Lavazza, and I've been drinking it for the last week. And this morning, before you sent me the picture of the coffee you bought, I just bought some Lavazza on Amazon. I get chills just talking about it. A non-spiritual person wouldn't even recognize the connections, right? They wouldn't even know it. They'd be like, oh, you okay? Tell me which coffee it is. Okay. And see no connection. No connection. Because they're not aware. They're not aware of, wow, I've been thinking about coffee, and here this guy's here, and she did that. The connections are there if we're aware of it and wake to it. When stuff happens like that to me, I'm like, wow, there is a God. There is a God. And it's so much bigger than we even realize. It cares about the coffee. Cares about what kind of coffee I'm going to drink in the morning. And if some of y'all think I'm mighty weird this morning, it's because of the coffee. So let's, this Thanksgiving, whether it's with your family, friends, or by yourself with God, let's remember, boy, how wonderful it is to be alive. How I can be grateful because I do have things going on in my life that are good. And that God is in my life, and I can open myself to that presence, experience more of its joy, which is what I really want, and it's with me all the time. And I can be open to its activity in my life and be aware of it. And even in the challenges that I have, if I can remember what St. Paul said, in all things give thanks. If I can remember that everything is working together for my good, even in the midst of a challenge, that can help raise my consciousness to be aware of that presence working in my life. And this, I believe, is what can really help us very much. As Teilhard de Chardin said, or maybe it was Meister Eckhart, if my only prayer to God was thank you, that would be enough. And so it is. Amen. Special thanks to our wonderful musician with us, Amy Steinberg. Thank you so much, Amy. All a blessing. And have a beautiful rest of the day and enjoy your Thanksgiving this week. And please, after the service, will be a prayer circle with Justin Morley. And at 1 o'clock, a soulful conversation downstairs connected with our message today. And please join me now for our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now I want to ask you to do something. Let's stand up and do the prayer for protection together. I think there's some power in that also. Together, let's say it together again. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yea, God, yea, you.